Welcome to Witch Hour, the hour where the brew is hot and the talk is real.
And the magic and mystery in our everyday life blend into one.
Yes, Witch Hours is a sacred space where the voices of comedic priestesses rise to awaken remembrance, restore divine balance, and reweave the threads of ancient feminine wisdom. We speak life into shadow, truth into silence, and healing into disconnection. Guided by the sacred teachings of our ancestors, we channel the power of mysticism, ritual, and spiritual truth to spark transformation, not only within ourselves, our community, and the world.
Yes, and I am Harit Kayam Watch.
I am Moot Nekbet Nefertati Ra.
And I am Mutetaru Baktiba.
And together we are the voices behind this mystical journey, an hour of wit, wisdom, and a little witchcraft or brouhaha. So come and leave enchanted.
Every brew starts with an intention, so here's today's intention. Presence is to be present, to stay in the moment. So we invite you to stay present with us and ask you, where do you need to stay present?
Yes, self-evaluation.
Patient.
So as we're being present, we want to thank you for being present with us. Go, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and all of our streaming platforms so you can stay connected to the hottest brew, the talk, and the tea as we can to have sacred space for ourselves and community. So today's episode is all about spiritual health, self-care, protection, and growth. Today, we're diving deep into spiritual self-care. Y'all hear me? We're diving deep, not just sage, not just salt, but real protection from our burnout and just spiritual clutter. So we want to really set the tone and really talk about what is spiritual health first and foremost before we are how we navigate our spiritual well-being. But what is spiritual health?
Yes, what is spiritual? Spiritual health is your connection to source, your connection to your ancestors, your connection to your past, staying strong in your power, staying strong in your authentic self as well, and not letting the world and things of the world get to you and lower your vibration. That is a big part of spiritual health. So it's peace, finding peace and being present in the moment.
Oh, you said Muheteru when you talk about being spiritual and worldly. So it reminds me something that we probably hear all the time, being in the world but not of the world. And having that healthy boundary. And you talked about peace and protecting our peace as a part of spiritual health. It's almost like our own personal relationship with ourselves and understanding ourselves enough to know when enough has been enough. When we know that our energy levels may have changed, the signs and seasons change, and when we are present in the moment to allow ourselves a moment to reflect to say, what do I need right now? Not just physically, emotionally.
Yeah, I appreciate that um aspect of protecting your peace. But, you know, what does that really mean? You know what I mean? Because like, what is peace to you? I'm such an anti-buzz word or phrase person. People just be saying stuff like, what do that mean? What do you, when you say that, what you trying to say? But for me, it's like, yes, spiritual care, spiritual health really looks like me tapping into myself. Like, am I resting? Am I really spending time in my personal practices?
That's what I think about too. Mootneck, that when you talk about personal practices and a part of our spiritual health, what does a personal practice look like? A personal practice may look like getting up in the morning, started with meditation. For some, may it be yoga. For some, it may be a stretch. For some, it may be something different.
I know that, like, for myself, when I'm really on it and I'm doing those things ritualistically and holistically, I feel so restored and I feel strong, and clear. And well, when I first started practicing Raseki. I used to like every day, I did not care, get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, doing my meditation and doing a full treatment, doing the meditation, doing the prayers, all of
Yeah.
the prayers of Sekhmet, the liberation prayers were so helpful. And then like taking a spiritual bath, and I would use the Reiki while I was in the bath, and I used to take a spirulina bath and do the Reiki in there, but I just felt like I was on cloud 9 all the time.
Mhm.
Um, and to do that, it's to honor yourself, to honor your own spirit. Like spiritual
Absolutely.
health is honoring your spirit
Mhm.
and honoring how your spirit needs to feel, feel cared for and loved and honored and respected. And like what are you doing to really feed your spirit?
And it's kind of like devotion. Our devotion is our spiritual health. You know, what are you devoted to? You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Are you devoted to your self-care, your peace, your getting up, you doing your morning rituals? Because when you don't do your morning rituals, you're more open to burnout, more
Mm.
open to that fatigue that you are feeling, more open to confusion when you are doing your ritual. Setting those boundaries with other people is like spiritual protection. Knowing when you need to rest, knowing when you go deep within. I feel like this whole season has been about going within
Mm.
and doing the inner work on
Mhm.
ourselves instead of being outside in the world. Take
Mhm.
care of you first. Like you said, nurture yourself, knowing exactly what you need. Because once you
Mhm.
stop, and it reminds me of the aura too,
Mm.
because when your aura is strong, like you are praying, you're meditating, you are up doing your prayers, but when your aura get weak, you are more prone to getting sick. You know what I'm saying? If
Mhm.
you're not doing your daily rituals, if you're not eating correctly, you are more prone to the chaos,
Mhm.
the isfit entering into your
Yes.
frequency. So
And I
Mhm.
thought, like, whatever, when you said it seems like that's the season for kind of like going within, right? Which we said that. We said that.
mhm.
It's like, I call it like hibernation season, right? This season feels different. And I must be totally transparent. Like, this week has
I
been rough
agree.
for me. Like, this season did not
Yeah.
open for me with unicorn butterflies and glitter, right? And so this our conversation is so appropriate. You see me today, even though, I said it's not always just burning sage, but sometimes burning certain herbs or utilizing certain herbs can help like elevate your thoughts.
Mhm.
I know the magic behind aromatherapy. That is something that aids for me in my spiritual health and well being because I know I am a person when we talk about Reiki and doing Reiki on ourselves or having other people,
Mhm.
even when we do moot nectar, we when we talk about those like massages and Thai massages, those things like that, and laying the hands, I am a person who needs a little more push or a little firmer touch or
Mhm.
layer my ritualistic
Mhm.
practice to help all my senses open up to say, girl, scale it back and build it in, right? Energy back. Stop doing so much. Take a pause, right? Take
Mhm.
and build in time for your prayers. Don't keep hitting the snooze button, right? Time to get up before the sun rises. My husband will often say, we get up at at 6 o'clock. By the time people get up at 6 o'clock, we've already done more than the military,
It's
right?
true.
Mhm.
So taking a scale back and building things in to really say, what is most important for me right now? What do I need to be present as my best self in all
Mm.
areas of my life? And
Mhm.
I know when
Mhm.
I'm up before the sun doing something other than responding to a work email,
Mm.
So
I'm out of balance.
Oh my gosh, that's a whole word. We talked about this before too, like being just being, right? And knowing that you have these worldly things to do, like go to work, like pay a bill, be responsible. But that's why when we talk about boundaries, last time we spoke about boundaries with other people, but now
Mhm.
you have to think about a part of your spiritual health means boundaries with yourself, right? So
Absolutely.
so if you know that you have a tendency to set your personal care aside in order to show up, like at some point you got to say, no, I really need this time for me. And like you were saying, Harit Time Watch, see, like I need to get up and do this because really I'm gonna feel great. I'm not gonna just roll into work without having fed myself, and
Mhm.
it's important to say no to yourself sometimes or to somebody had said to me when I was telling them about my schedule and they're like, did you schedule yourself in? And I was just like, no, I didn't schedule myself in. My gosh. The consideration, like you have to also include yourself in your to-do list. You
You
have to
do.
include yourself in the tasks of what that looks
Mhm.
like. And that helps you tap into understanding yourself by putting up those boundaries for you. Like, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to try this today. I'm going to do this today. So you can stay connected to who you are because we be running on
Mhm.
fumes sometimes, or like,
Mhm.
like we just be on autopilot because we know that our routine needs to be catered to. But what does it look like to stop, pause, be present, and say, just for today, I'm going to go to a
Mhm.
movie or I'm gonna go eat a really good dinner or spend time in meditation or take my spiritual bath or
Yeah.
whatever. So those boundaries that you put in place with yourself help you to stay connected and understand yourself a lot more too, so you can be present for others and put those boundaries up for other people like you need to.
Mhm.
I must say too that just being able to be in community with you two, right?
Mm.
A really good part of my spiritual
So
wellness. When you think about like a wellness plan, like y'all are part of my wellness plan.
mm,
Feel so restored when we do this.
Is that that's a crappy heart, but
It's a part it's a part of my spiritual health and well-being when I'm able to sit in the company of you two and other dynamic women who really get it.
mhm.
Like you could say, look, I was feeling some type of way, or I had this thought or this dream or this vision and not feel ostracized by it, right?
Right.
The- Being able to like interpret it and what it may mean for me and how I could apply it. And
Mhm.
there was a book, because y'all know I love to read with my ears, but I read this one with my eyes, right? There was a book that I was kind of going deep within and working with somebody else on. And it's called, and I'm gonna see if I can find it too while we're talking, but it's radical self-care, right? And take
So
a radical approach to self-care. Tending to your self-care is not a part, it's not selfish, right? And you take
right.
a approach, meaning that you're doing whatever you have to do to make sure that yourself, for yourself, that you are fully aware, present, and
mhm,
you're healthy.
Mhm.
Because we could be present, but are we
mhm,
healthy in our presence?
mhm,
Right.
mhm,
Right. Right.
And with that radical self-care, the notion was around health, healthy. So I want us to think about, and I want our listeners, think about, are you healthy in your presence?
Mm.
Or are you
mm,
just existing as a shadow, but still there?
Mhm.
Are you healthy in your presence?
And the
mhm,
moment you feel disconnected is the moment you're being called to reconnect with yourself. So
mhm,
if you're feeling disconnected with yourself, and that could look like being like fatigued, no matter how much you lay down to get rest, you still don't feel rested. Things are chaos, things going on. Our bodies is like our sacred technology. So just think
mhm,
about the health wise is our system functioning because it is a system, our nervous system, all of our organs and everything functioning, putting
mm,
up that boundary It's the firewall. And our signals is telling us something is off, something is wrong. So, like, what is it going on inside of your body and inside of your world that may be indicating to you that something is wrong, that you need to slow down, that you need to take care of yourself? Pull back, draw in, and be your own physician. You know what I'm saying? Like, be your own physician.
Listen.
Because when things go wrong with myself, I tend to, okay, what do I need? Do I need to journal? Do I need to meditate? Do I need to take a bath? Do I need to turn the phone off? Do I need to shut the laptop off? Do I need? And giving yourself that permission to really go in and get what you need. Give yourself permission to be present. Give yourself permission to take care of yourself. Give yourself permission to be spiritually healthy. When you're spiritually healthy, you'll be more in alignment with your true self and your purpose, your path, and everything else around you will be more in Maat flow. It gotta have that order and that balance and that harmony.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that is too that I was checking myself on. And I encourage my godchildren to check themselves on around the spiritual health. Some of that is, and we talked about it during our live too, right? Some of that is going over the 42 laws of my eye.
Oh.
Mhm.
Because sometimes we may feel like, oh, I feel good. I feel rested. You know, I feel vibrant, and that may be our physical self, but what are our actions healthy? Do we
Mm,
have actions that are supporting us in our spiritual health or
mm.
our spiritual space? Because sometimes we could be out of my eye, out of balance, out of order, or just wrong.
Mhm.
Our action, right?
That
So
that that was a mama look if I ever seen one.
you know,
You know you wrong,
Just wrong.
just
Just
wrong.
wrong.
so that is a way and a that you could do, checking yourself,
Mhm.
weighing your actions,
Mhm.
those scales to say, am I in order?
Mhm.
Order. And again, that goes with the healthier presence because you could be present, you could be up praying, you could be teaching somebody else to pray, but still out of order.
Listen, so to both of your points, because that's the second time I heard this reference, but the speaking about the body being a system. When we are not upkeeping our system, we get confused, right? Our energy
Sure.
levels are low. You know what I mean? Like our system is compromised.
Yes.
Our system becomes compromised when we are not upkeeping our spiritual health. And by checking ourselves, weighing your heart and asking yourselves, what am I doing? How am I carrying myself? How am I presenting myself to myself that I'm able to present myself to other people? Because ultimately, when you speak about them 42 laws, you're not necessarily doing that for other people. You're doing it for yourself. You know,
Well,
you're doing it for you to make sure that your checks and balances are equal, that you are showing up as your best self in the connection of spiritual health. That also applies to just your character in general.
You
mhm.
never bit good
Never bet.
Yes.
You are pulling.
character is spiritual health.
Know that the character might not be that great. You know what? Because it can be challenging. It's on topic, but it's on topic, but off topic a little bit. Just because I always think about like the virtues of knowing the real from the unreal, knowing the truth from what's not true. How do you know that? Like, what is your scale of truth? What's your scale of the real? Because what could be real to you may not be real to other people. It may not be real at all, but it's real to you, right?
Right.
Or it may not be true for most, but it's true for you. So those two can be blurred. And sometimes, like, we might think that we're navigating in our truth as a way of spiritual health, but it actually is not doing us a service. It's doing us a disservice.
Checking in with yourself to be in my eye, but also making sure that good karma come back, like that karma. That's the first thing I thought about when you said that too, like the
Mm-hmm.
karma. When When you wake up and say those 42 laws of Ma'at, when you rise, keeps you balanced. So, like our ancestors, and I don't even know how, listen, we just got Ma'at. I'm like, I don't even know how we got on the subject, but we here because it needs to be spoken about, obviously. But like waking up in the morning and saying the 42 laws of Ma'at when you rise, I will not. And then at night, the ancestors will say, I have not. You know what I'm saying? And looking at those 42 laws of Ma'at and just really keeping it real with yourself and scaling them to see which one of the ones that you need to work on a little
Mhm.
bit more. You know what
Keep it
I'm saying?
real
And
with
that's okay.
yourself.
Yes, it's okay to look at it and say, okay, I one for me is I will not pollute myself. And
Mm,
that goes as far as like food. You know what
mm,
I'm saying? With certain foods, even when I'm dead scrolling, what am I paying attention to? So I'll look at that. Okay, well, I'll do better tomorrow. But just knowing when you need and where you need to do better and
mhm,
incorporating better into your practice,
mhm.
spiritually feeding yourself. What are you feeding yourself? What are you consuming on a day-to-day basis? It should
Mhm,
be everything to lift your vibration so that you can walk higher, in
mhm,
your path and in your purpose.
You stated about that's all those are all the things you would do for your physical health, right? You'll make
Mhm.
sure
mhm,
you exercising, you're not overly consuming certain things. That's the type of boundaries we need for our physical health. So why won't we put in those same boundaries and guidelines for our spiritual health? Because it's just as important. We know
mm,
that the thing feed our body physically affects us. So what about the things that we are feeding our body spiritually by consumption of
mhm,
eyes, poor practices, and by not cleansing ourselves
mm,
spiritually? Because when we have made those consumptions, right, when we've been poor
Mhm.
spiritual knowledge or wisdom, whatever it is, you know,
mhm,
something that we have to do to eliminate that. Some people may go on a fast. Some people may, like, oh, I'm going to go spray myself down with some Florida water or whatever good bad hoodoo medicine you may have made for yourself to kind of get rid of that. But then when you're doing those things, it's also removing it from your consciousness because you could spray all you want. But if you're not removing those things from your consciousness, it's going to be a part of your continued
Okay,
practice.
that part.
Mhm.
'Cause I was
That's
gonna
what I'm
say,
saying.
I don't care how many times Florida water yourself, if it's in your consciousness, okay?
You could buy the whole stock in Florida water.
You could dip in Florida water and your consciousness, if your consciousness is still wherever, it's the Florida water is just regular water at this point.
And that took me to cutting cords too. That just like reminded me of like cutting cords, how people will always come to get their cords cut, but then step back into the same situation or go back to whomever you wanted those cords cutting from. Like you cannot do that. Like
That's
you got the cords cut for a reason so that you can be more in your spiritual health and more in alignment and let go of some things, but then you step back into that same frequency and it's going to pull you back down and right back off your path because you can't get the cords cut. You spray the Florida water unless you really, really want to change. Like you
that
got to
part.
change it in your
Mhm.
consciousness.
That part.
Absolutely. That's where it starts first.
Yeah. You can't be spiritually reactionary. 'Cause
Hmm.
most of those people that be asking for things like this are in their feelings. You know,
Hmm.
you and your emotions, you're mad over something petty. You're not really thinking about the bigger picture of what it means to do something like that or why you're even upset with the person in the first place. So this is a part of understanding yourself. If you understand yourself, you don't have to be reactionary. You know exactly what to do. If you get yourself right, whatever is not in your frequency, it's not even going it's going to get gone on its own. It's going to drop off.
Can't even penetrate it.
No,
Like,
Goes back to like you and Muhadaro, you kind of alluded to this. It kind of came up as a way, but your baseline, like really knowing who you are and
hmm,
energy and knowing like when things bother you or uh, knowing your triggers or your symptoms, because sometimes we
thank you.
and people, right, can stuff their feelings or stuff and suppress, suppress their thoughts, feelings, but your body is really having a reaction to even things that we are stuffing
Yes.
spiritually, things
Yes.
that we're not doing. If we're not getting up, and I'm speaking for myself, if I'm not
Mhm.
getting doing my prayers, or I'm not getting up doing Kundalini yoga, or if I am not in taking certain things like watching what I'm eating, the first thing I know, this forehead right here, all right here, it's going to be red. I'm going to feel stressed and I'm just going to claw at it. And
Mm.
before I never knew, like that was telling me like, okay, you need to, what we say, scale back and to build in. I just was like, I don't know why my forehead's breaking out, but we know all these things on our face is a map
Mhm.
and it tells us what is bothering us, right?
Mhm.
So
Right.
it talks about our intestines, but it's something I'm not processing. It's something I am
Not
not processing
digested. Mhm.
internally. And I could ignore it, but my face gonna tell you like you're not dealing with something.
Mm,
What you
mm.
gonna do? You you pour water. You gonna have to do both ends because remember I told you I need a little extra. I need a little extra stuff, right? I have to layer my spiritual healing.
Yes.
So I'm gonna start drinking a little more water. I might start thinking, like, all right, I had enough of this. Can't do that. But then I'm gonna say, what is it that is causing me a tightness in my stomach that I keep
Right.
ignoring that I'm
Right.
Right. I'm sorry. That just had me cracking up like,
like,
what's wrong with looking at somebody's face like,
reading and say something.
not only do you need hydration, but something ain't
Yes.
right in this area, or looking at yourself like that. Like, you need spiritual hydration, both literally and figuratively.
Mhm. Mm.
Looking at somebody's eyes, being like, you need a kidney flush. You're a little puffy. You need a kidney flush. Our body tells us what we need.
Yes,
Our body
absolutely.
tells us what we need. And like, I don't know why that is so hilarious to me. Like, it's like my internal thought was just spoken out loud, like, something ain't right over there. But also,
Mm.
Mhm.
like, to your point too, Harita and Watsi, like your body holds information of what you've been through, right?
Yes.
And it's like when we go through things, it doesn't matter physically, emotionally, mentally, it's retained. And we just go about our day because we can't stop to really let that fully heal or mend or release. So, days later we're wondering why our back is hurting or why we have a headache or why our arm is hurting, and we haven't allowed our body to actually like, hey, I need this to be tended to. Need it to be massaged. I need you to do some movement, stretch, and that's all a part of that detoxification, like taking
Mhm.
the time to detoxify, taking the time to sit there and soak in water. And so spiritual baths are not just about your aura being cleansed, right? It's your body being rejuvenated too.
Absolutely.
When it's allowing your body time to relax, those muscles to become untense, then your nerves, whatever, putting your hands on your body and rubbing yourself can be an act
Mhm.
of spiritual, because that's an emotional response. I know for myself, somebody that hasn't always liked being touched. You touch me, I'm like, oh, get off. But the right person touches you with a care, it's like, oh my God, I actually needed that. And then things come up and out. So sometimes those spiritual baths are not just to be like, oh, I feel great. Sometimes that spiritual bath is there for you to let them tears out, let
Yes.
that pain be absorbed by the water, let the water, the information of the water soothe you, soak you. You speak over your spiritual bath. You know what I mean? You don't just put stuff in there. You pray over the water. Our
Mhm.
bodies are water. Our bodies are mainly water. So the things that you not say to yourself or what other people say to you, your body's retaining that. So get in the bath, pray over your bath while you're running the water. Hey, when I get into this bath, I want to feel like this. I need this water to hold this. We talk about earth holding a lot, right? Putting grounding and putting your feet on the soil. Get in some water.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Get in some water and let that water remove those emotions from you. And
Mhm.
it's okay. Be in there for 2 hours. Let the water get cold and fill it back up with some hot water. Put it let
Yeah.
it go down, cuz as you yeah, let it go down. Make some new water. And every time that sink or that drain as it's releasing whatever you didn't release is releasing with the drain. But the
Mhm.
spiritual bath is so much more than, you know, something that looks beautiful and aesthetically pleasing by putting a whole bunch of stuff in it. Sometimes that is just literally your words. You putting your hand in with Reiki, you ain't gotta be attuned. You just have to have intention.
Pray over it because I was just thinking, like, somebody could be listening, like, what is a spiritual bath? A spiritual bath is really your intentions that you put in the water that you are going to soak your body.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Some people are doing spiritual baths to cleanse, release. Some people are doing spiritual baths to nurture and support.
Yeah.
Just goes out. Sometimes you need to bring energy in. What do we say, right?
Mhm.
Dig in, right? So, depending on what you need at that moment, this is why self awareness is so important on your spiritual journey. Self
Mhm.
is so important because you need to be aware to say, when is it time to scale up and when is it time
Mm.
when
Mhm.
nurture, when is it a time to release. So when you want to release, like that, I love you don't have to have a apothecary, a full apothecary in your you can have your words, you can have your thoughts, and we are
Mhm.
not about words and thoughts. We always have words and thoughts.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Access to a spiritual bath for free. You turn on that water, you pray over that water, hands over the water. If you want to use a certain affirmation, a poem that resonates with you, do that to
Mm.
see is what your outcome, your desired outcome. Put whatever intention into that water for your
Mhm. And remember earlier today, every spiritual bath is a baptism. Like it's a baptism.
Mm.
A cleansing. And then if you really want to get it off, make that water cold. You know what I'm saying? Standing in the shower and making that water cold
Mm.
to get whatever it is that
Mm.
off
Mm.
of you that you want off of you. Even standing there and letting the water just pour on you and just imagining and meditating everything going down the drain. Boom. If it's your
Mhm.
heart space you need to work on, open your heart to that shower and just imagine the water just hitting that
Mm.
spot, that heart, the heart, and then whatever it is, whether it's pain, whether it's grief, whether it's shame, whether it's not feeling good enough, whether it's been feeling embarrassed, whatever it, imagine it going down the drain. All of
Mhm.
these things, though, for real, every single thing is free to us. It's
free.
free.
It's
Like
free.
we think we need to go out and buy certain things, get certain these. Oh, I need this to make me feel better. Oh, I need to get my nails done. Sometimes we do need to get our nails done. I mean, but at the end of the day, once they're done, you might be back to feeling the same way that you was. But doing that spiritual self-care, everything is free. Like we spoke about earlier, aromatherapy, that's free. Stretching, that is free. Putting on some good frequency music, that is free.
Mhm.
Saying your prayers, all of it is definitely free and contributes to our health. So we don't need to go out and do anything. Shutting things off, shutting down the phone, shutting down the laptop, and just really going in deep and getting into
Shutting down the phone is like, so I think that to say that to to have our listeners hear you say that, it's like, right? Because we are like so
Mhm.
trained to grab our phone first thing in the morning. We're trained to
Same.
scroll all day. We're trained to do all of these things. We're trained to have our phone constantly in our hands. I don't know if you've ever been like, where's my phone? And it's like literally in your hand as you're looking
Yeah.
for it. So it's like to turn it off, or if turning off your phone sounds like I don't know if I can turn off my phone all day. I don't know. Put it in a room. Leave it upstairs in the bedroom.
Mhm.
Leave it upstairs in the bedroom, leave it in the living room, leave it somewhere where you're in the other room focusing on whatever it is you need to focus on for yourself. Because guess what? That conversation, it's going to happen. Somebody going to keep calling you, you're going to have it, and it's going to waste your time probably. Or it could be a good thing, let's keep it on the bright side. It could be a beautiful opportunity. Somebody texting you, it's not going to hurt you to put your phone aside for the day, right? Or a few hours while you focus on yourself, because that's letting you know and the world know, the outside world, that my time right now is valuable to me, and I need every piece of currency that time is
Yep.
going to fulfill my spiritual bank with, right? So yeah, don't be intimidated by putting your phone away or putting yourself on D&D if you are an iPhone user.
Mhm.
Put your notifications on.
Put your
I used to get mine's like I used to do like 30 minutes at a time. But I timed myself. It was like every 5 minutes I had to be like becomes a habit and just challenge yourself to put the phone away
Mhm.
15 minutes at a time, 30 minutes at a time, and then it'll slowly 'cause we need to get things done. And sometimes it's just the
Mhm.
thing, the text message, that's the trigger
Just
for
tell
us to go.
just tell people that you off grid, and there's
Right.
no service where you are.
It's a good one.
Mhm.
So when we think about like spiritual health, spiritual well-being, I really love a good, and anybody who know me will tell you I love a good spiritual bath. So I'm so glad
True.
that this came up as a part of our healing and our restorative practice in addition to our ritual. So I want to ask our listeners, y'all are part of our brew crew
Brew
too.
crew.
Brew crew.
Like, you are a part of our brew crew. I want to ask our brew crew, what are you doing to make sure that the health of your presence or your presence,
Yeah.
and that you are, what are you doing to protect your peace? And I'm going over to my sister Monet at a deeper level, not just protecting my peace, but
Mhm.
doing for your spiritual health.
Mhm.
We could work out for our physical health, and that even helps with our emotional health. But what practices are you doing to maintain your spiritual health?
Mhm.
Let us share it with us. Direct message us, you know where we are. You know how you can find us. We're on all social media platforms as which hour underscore podcast. Email us. We want to hear from you. And
Mhm.
for one of our lives. Y'all know we always go live too. So join us for one of our lives and share what you are doing to help nurture yourself and to help make sure that you're not just healthy emotionally and physically, but you're also healthy spiritually.
Like,
Mhm.
ooh,
Yes, let's have a conversation about you.
Have a conversation.
question about you.
Mhm.
So y'all know, always do our community share where we talk a little bit, we pull a card, and we share.
Mhm.
Right? We share the goods because this is our sacred space. But we want to make sure that we are all nurturing one another and we're learning and growing together. So today we have, as usual, carpool and language. And how appropriate, y'all. I love the way that we all work together because I told y'all, and I said it and I mean it. I'm saying it with my chest. Move had a well, my heart is out, right? Y'all are a part of my spiritual health, and a part of my
So,
spiritual part of my, I'm gonna call it my care plan.
mhm.
I love how we work independently, but then when we come together, it's just always magic because y'all didn't know the card
Mhm.
that I pulled up, but we mentioned it. And the card that I pulled for today, I
Oh,
pulled it African Goddess Rising Oracle deck
mm,
with one of the decks I love and
mm.
grief.
Mhm.
What's she standing on? Or what's her feet on?
Yeah, so her feet is on like a tree. So if you look at her dress, it's like the mountain or the forest. And in the center of this winding, I'm gonna call it like a snake, but it looks more like a tree, is the center of the earth.
Mm,
Mhm.
And I'll make
wow.
sure I post for those who are listening. Might not be, yeah, I'll post it on our social pages so you can see the
Mhm,
beauty and for this card. So this card represents the deity Allah, who
mm,
is the goddess of grief from the Igbo tribe in Nigeria.
mm, mm,
And woman, she's a temple of lovers, right? She oversees death, humans after death. She oversees motherhood, fertility, and the afterlife. So when we think about transformation, she represents transformation, transformation into the world, transformation out of the physical world. But here she is replanting in our soul about reincarnation. So this
mm,
card is a reminder about grief. It is a reminder of grief. And grief helps
Mhm.
if we allow it to, if we allow it to. So when you are feeling grief, there's a way that we can release. How do we release that grief? We do a cry, a spiritual bath, or we do body work or breath work. And
mhm,
sometimes I like to call it weeping willow. We just
mm,
let our hang and
mhm,
we just
Mm.
to get those emotions to be processed
mhm,
through. But she is a reminder that grief lives within us and
Right.
it begins to affect us physically. So we
mm,
want to make sure that we are requiring of ourselves self care, self
Mhm.
nurturing ourselves, loving up on ourselves when we may feel grief stricken from a broken relationship, heartbreak, job loss, any type of loss,
Mhm.
right? Or we just holding grief in our body subconsciously, but we need to help move it through and process it through. There are things that we could do. Cry in that shower, let it
mm,
go. Cry in that bath, let it go. Ground,
Mhm.
just stomp outside, right? Sometimes you just need to let out a big pounding of your chest and a roar to let
Right.
things move, those emotions move through you. And
mhm,
so
Mhm.
today with this card grief because
mhm,
there's a solution for it.
Too,
mhm.
too, absolutely. Wow, and edge for that. And by going through that grief, you have to always remember like you are the light.
Mm,
And the phrase that I have is Nook ba Ra. I am the
mm,
soul of Ra. Nook ba Ra. And what that means is you are the essence of Ra. Like you are not separate. You are the essence of Ra. You are that life force energy. You are that life force energy that rise every single day, just like Ra does. So remembering there is light and you are the light. And like they say, there is light at always at the end of the tunnel, but remembering you are that life. You are the source and you bring light. Ooh, here I go. You bring light to not only yourself, but bringing light to other people, and other people count on you. So
mhm.
remember, by Ra, you are
Look
the light.
by,
You are the essence of Ra.
mm,
And continue to shine in every aspect of your life. People need you. You need yourself first,
mm,
but people need you as well. So taking care of yourself
mhm,
and continuously shine no matter what and not dimming your
mhm,
light. Nook
mm.
ba ra and chanting
Look by,
Nook ba ra. I
look
am the
by,
soul of Ra.
I am the soul of Ra.
Soul of Ra.
That's beautiful. La la la.
Mm.
I love it. Look by Ra. I am the soul of Ra. I'm the
Ra.
soul of God.
Yes.
Two equals yes. Two equals
Right.
yes. And two is yes, yes, yes. So, when I think about grief and holding that within the body, and sometimes we have emotions that are not always ours. They're carried over. And so the herb that I have for us to use is called Kinnick.
Oh,
Kinnick, or I think it's also Kinnick, but Kinnick. It is an
Mm.
ancestral herb. It's an herb to give to your ancestors, to burn with your ancestors, and really help to look at the grief within your family familial line, right? And I know that we like, oh man, I'm tired of doing ancestral work, but catch this. You giving yourself spiritual health and feeding your ancestors is a beautiful way of relieving that grief and that ancestral trauma. But to feed them and give them this smoke in a good way is to let
Mm.
them know that they have the ability to release their own grief.
yeah.
It
Yes.
doesn't need to be shared. So give your ancestors some love and give them room and space to release as you are releasing. It is a joint relationship experience
I'm so grateful for you too. The
too.
3 of us. Connect. I'm going out to get some so I can give my ancestors some. And
Yes.
wow,
Too.
how wonderful is that for us to kind of resonate on, like you said, Muharu, the power of God that lives within us
Mhm.
are never separated from, and to help us be the light in the dark. I'm vibing with
Mhm.
it. I'm utilizing
Mhm.
all of it this week, and I hope our extended brew crew members, you are too, okay?
Mhm.
Us and stay along this journey with us, y'all. Pour your thoughts into the cauldron because we are listening. We are listening. So please connect with us. Again, not just on our social media platforms, but reach
Mhm.
out. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear the wisdom that you have to share with us. We want to put that in our cauldron and get that a brewing,
Mm.
grow it together.
Keeping our ear to the chat.
Yes, keep our ears to the chat. We want to say thank you. Thank you for being present with us today. Thank you for your presence.
So,
Give y'all some energy.
yes, yes. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your love. Thank you for the likes, shares, the comments that we get, the
Yes.
feedback.
Yes. Adding to the conversation.
Yes.
We love y'all. Stay connected with us. Catch us on our live. Email us, all those good things. We create the magic as magic lives within us, and we share it on the outside of us. And until next time, y'all, what we gonna say?
Okay. Memos tab.
We
Memos
go in
tab.
peace.
We go and be. Memos tab.
Shemima